education, and so much more. Loving Arms Pregnancy Center has 2 locations, in Taylorville at 500 North Walnut Street and in Pana at 201 South Locust Street. You can reach us by calling 217-824-7200 or by visiting lovingarmsillinois.com.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Pastor Brian Moore here from Locust Grove Church near Assumption. We are alive and so worth the drive. Find directions to our church and watch our video podcast by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Agriculture is our largest industry. Your agriculture information station is WTIM, AM, FM, and online. Tune in or stream WTIM's over 8 hours a day of ag information featuring our local farm broadcaster to be in the know.
Matt Corso here, proud to now be a part of the Kaufman Realty and Auction team right here in Taylorville. Let my over 20 years of real estate and auction experience work for you. Click my icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM, AM, FM, and online on the WTIM mobile app and Amazon Alexa is your ag information station. With over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming and our own local farm broadcaster. Tune in to WTIM, your ag information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and the WTIM Morning Show with leaders from across the area here at our Taylorville studios. The WTIM Morning Show is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guests in this segment, are Master Gardeners from the University of Illinois Extension Office. I have Kathy Knope and Gwen Podesky. Did I say that right, Gwen?
Podesky, yes. You need to give Kathy Knope.
Kathy Knope.
Right.
Well, obviously, this is my first time getting to sit down with you folks. And so my first question for you is, what got you started with the University of Illinois Extension Master Gardeners? And really, what kind of sparked that interest, if you don't mind my asking?
Oh, I love to grow any kind of vegetables, any kind of, any kind of plant. And I learned, and
you like herbs a lot.
And I like herbs. I'm a crazy nut about herbs and native plants.
And she does things like vermiculture. I don't know if you're still doing your earthworms or not.
We're earthworms and make compost out of it and put it on for fertilization. And I learned a lot by just doing the education part of it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes you fail at it and sometimes you don't. That's gardening though.
And for you, Gwen, how did you get your start?
I think I just have always, not always, but I don't know. At some point, my gardening became a very big passion of mine. I blame my 10th great grandfather, who was a gardener in Long Island of all places. But anyway, I don't know. I took training in 1996 and have just kind of stayed active in the program. I love the educational aspect of it, the chance to go get classes and things, and just the chance to meet with people and kind of help them sort of wade through the weeds and find the flowers, or wade through the flowers and find the weeds, one of the way.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you filling me in there just to give me an idea of turning your passion into your career. And so I appreciate that. And we'll get started on what we need to hit on here today. And first and foremost, I'd love to talk about the training courses and giving our listeners just a brief rundown of those and an idea about the classes and courses you offer.
Okay, so we're always on the lookout for Master Gardener trainees to join the group so that we don't have to come on the radio every month. But anyway, we've got a couple of different types of training opportunities coming up in 2025. First one are the online training sessions, and those will occur. There's a winter spring set that runs February 3rd through April 30th, a summer set which runs June 9th through August 30th. I don't know how you do that and be a gardener, but okay. And then the fall set which runs September 15th through December 31st. And you can go online to go.illinois.edu. or just look online for Master Gardener training.
Yeah,
in Illinois. Be sure to put Illinois in there because there are Master Gardener programs all over the country.
Yeah, every state.
And in Canada. So
Oh,
anyway, yeah, we've got Master Gardeners
Oh.
all over.
yeah,
But
all over.
anyway, those the registration actually closed last week Monday for the winter spring set, and the registration will open April 1st for that summer set. And we'll talk about those dates again. And then we've got the hybrid training, which is a nice, online training is strictly online. So you're getting the information and the manual, and you're on your own to take the classes.
Yes.
The hybrid training is meeting at the Hillsborough Extension Office, and that's Montgomery County, because we are a unit, and we have Macoupin, Montgomery, and Jersey, as well as Christian. So anyway, those classes will start Tuesday, February 4th through April 15th. And again, I would imagine that the application time is closed for those, but not to despair. You've got chances to just put your application in and wait for the next go round, which will be the fall hybrid training. Those will be Tuesdays, September 9th through November 25th. And you will actually be either in the room with the instructors, or you will be in the room with your fellow trainees listening to the instructors virtually. At any rate, they will be, you'll be able to interact with them and stuff. So it's a good class, and it's a commitment. Those are usually about, what are they, Kathy? 9-10 something
or
like
weeks.
that.
Yeah,
and
they're
they're all day long. They're
all
a
day.
full day, because you get training in
Anything,
everything from lawns to vegetables,
pesticides,
to pesticides, and best practices for gardening. And so you really,
you have everything.
down to the soils, down to what's in soils.
Yeah, wow.
So
and the
it's
booklet,
pretty
it's a
amazing.
great reference when you get done.
Mhm.
So when it comes to master gardening or learning about the gardening, is that going to be, is it kind of a slew? You've mentioned all these different things. Is it going week by week and kind of breaking down maybe from soils to then?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. So for instance, I'll just kind of read, here's like in the fall hybrid training, the first one is botany, and then it goes to soils, and then insects, trees and shrubs, annuals and perennials, which are things that are herbaceous, vegetables, diseases, lawns, fruits, and then so you as you can see, you've got just about everything, as well as a little bit of training on working, because you, as well as doing the training, then you will do volunteer hours.
Yeah.
And there are 20 hours a week or 20 hours a year that are required to remain active in the
And if you're
program.
active enough, you will earn a easily.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll get there. So at any rate, it's a lot of fun. Meet a lot of great people. Sometimes people bring plants for free and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like,
Real
okay.
fun. But anyway, it's a great opportunity. And like I said, go to extension.illinois.edu/MG, and then there's a tab at the top, which is take the training.
Absolutely. Well, so then the other thing for that is you get to meet like-minded individuals, and you can bounce some of those things, maybe what worked, what doesn't work, off of each other as well. And so when I think about that, and you're going down to the soils and to the insects, some of these things are things that people probably aren't exactly thinking of when it comes to their garden or their lawn. What are some of those beneficial things that you guys see for folks that even are pretty well experienced in those things? Some of those things that kind of go under the radar that you're going to make sure you hit on in those courses.
Well, I think something that happens, and we'll talk about this when we get into seed catalogs and things like that, but you see things, you bring them home. Oh, I've got to have that plant. You bring it home.
It's not
you
the
really
right.
need to think about, where am I going to put this? Because there are places it's going to thrive and places it's not. So
it's the right conditions.
All of that. And the soils the same way. Is your soil someplace where you get the flood from the downspouts, and then all of a sudden it has to then dry way out? So there are all those questions.
And even the pH of the soil. You got to just consider everything when you
because I wish I could tell you every year I go by the blueberry bushes at the grocery store, and I think, you poor babies, you're not going to be very happy where you plant it unless somebody knows what to do with you, and that's the whole thing is you can do things, but you have to have the right
Yeah.
and how to get that information,
And how to get-
where to take a soil
Mhm.
test sample or where to go to take a soil
Right.
test sample, what to do about those insects.
Yeah.
Yes, you want to get rid of the aphids, but do you want to get rid of every insect on the planet?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there are pollinators out there that
That really
make your
rely on it.
vegetables
Yeah, absolutely.
produce.
Yeah.
So there's always a good, education is a good thing. And that's something that
Mhm.
the program stresses is
Yeah,
we
education.
provide education-based information for home gardeners.
And you're getting it from knowledgeable sources
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
that
Yeah,
know what
it's-
they're talking
It's
about.
always research based.
And that's important.
Yes.
That's very
Exactly.
important.
I mean, that's the whole thing. You've got to, you can't just think, well, I like I said, you can't just go out, oh, well, I love this hosta,
Yeah.
but my yard does, and then go home and think, well, I don't have a place in the yard that's got any shade.
Right.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden my
So all of a
hostas.
sudden your hosta burns up. So,
Yeah.
and that's the whole,
That's
that's
the
just
whole-
a very simple
Yeah,
part
that's
of
a
it.
simple
but,
thing.
but
of it,
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, as we grow along, we learn more. We're
Mhm.
learning a whole lot more about the microbial structure of soils
Yes,
and what's in
yes.
those soils that make things grow and sometimes also cause them to have problems.
Yeah.
So all of that sort of thing is.
Yeah, it is in there.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing that any advice should on any of those courses is the instructors should say, you're going to have failure. Even the ones that are experienced are going to have failures. And you just say, well, that didn't work. Write it down. Go to the
Mhm.
next.
What did I do
What
wrong?
did I
and
wrong?
What happened?
What
Kind of do
happened?
some
and-
exploration because
Yeah.
that's the other part of it is
It's just
always there's usually always a reason, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
always
like
a reason.
I will say this much, after being a master gardener for almost 30 years, I am certainly glad I'm not a physician because I would hate to have to
Yeah,
I would hate to
Eliza.
have to get to do some of that kind, and especially I think a veterinarian home.
Oh my
how do you
goodness,
do
yeah,
that? So
yeah.
but at any rate, it's fun, rewarding, and you get to meet great people.
I think it's a valuable lesson too, learning from those mistakes rather than just failing
Yes.
and not learning from them. I think
Mhm.
that's when you really fail, is when you fail to learn from it. You mentioned people bringing in plants. Now, could we go into grafting real quick before we head to our first break here? Grafting is essentially taking a plant taking from a plant and repotting it. What is grafting?
Okay, so
exactly?
grafting is often done in the nursery, the orchard
Mhm.
trade, to produce a tree that's the size you want it to be. Like you like a red delicious apple, but you
That's
don't want to pick one
Yeah.
from a standard size tree, which is
Mhm.
40 to 50 feet high. So you put it onto rootstock. And
Yeah.
so what you do is you take a rootstock that has the characteristics, the growing
We're growing and
characteristics, or the
everything. Mhm.
hardiness that
Mhm.
you want, and
And
you
then-
put you prepare the plant so that you put the parts together. They will grow together if it's done correctly,
Mhm.
and then you've got the base of the tree is
Certain
root-
character. Well, the base of the tree, they choose a stock that is going to have certain characteristics that they want.
right. And like I said, a lot of times it's the size.
Yeah, it's the size.
Or
It
and
could be the
and it has
flicker.
to be compatible. Like you can't put an apple scion wood onto oak tree.
Yeah,
It
okay,
has to be,
it's-
usually it's some version of the rose family, which is what apples are in.
Yeah.
And then you use some version of the rootstock that gives you, like I said, the
Mm-hmm.
characteristics you want. Is it going to be a dwarf tree, a semi-dwarf tree, or a standard tree? Is it
Mhm.
going to be hardy to
It's
zone
to
5B,
zones
which is what
5B.
our zone is?
Yep.
That's what you do
Yeah, it's-
for grafting.
It's an art. You
Mhm,
got to know
mhm.
what you're doing.
Yeah, and most of the time, like with apples, there could be as many apples as there are apple trees,
Yeah.
because every seed in every apple will grow a different tree. I'm not kidding. And so what you do is, in order to do that, you've got this base. This base works in this climate.
Okay.
You want to make sure you're growing a Jonathan or a Golden Delicious. So you use that, and it's basically almost like, it's not exactly like cloning. It's a little bit similar to cloning. And a lot of times they will do trees like ginkgo trees, which are great can be great
Hmm.
shade and street
Shade.
trees if
But-
they're male.
But if they're female,
But if they're female, they have a very noxious
smell
fruit.
and
So you
yeah,
usually
you don't want
those
that.
trees have been grafted, the ones that you see in the nursery.
And to be
those
able to
trees.
find that out would be through some trial and error, some of those failures that lead to some successes later. So that goes back to that.
And usually
topic.
what they've done is they've cut, they know that's a male tree. And so they just graft it onto the stalks.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Well, I would take our first break here so we can get to everything else that we want to hit here in the second break. I have Master Gardeners Gwen Podesky and Kathy Knope here in studio with me on the WTIM Morning Show.
WTIM.
Find out all the great things happening in the Pana area on the WTIM Pana Morning Show, Tuesdays from 8:40 till 10. You'll hear interviews with Pana area community, nonprofit, and business leaders each week. The WTIM Pana Morning Show is brought to you by these sponsors.
Our title sponsor, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Your Pana Save-A-Lot, Whiskey Bill's Saloon and Liquor Emporium, and Locked and Loaded Limited.
Central Illinois News, Agriculture, and Sports Station, WTIM, the big 870 AM, 107.5 FM, are bringing all of the great things happening at our local high schools to the radio in January. We're hitting the road for the WTIM High School Road Tour. Join us when we broadcast live from Shelbyville High School from 9 till 10 in the morning on Wednesday, January 22nd. We'll be interviewing Shelbyville High School principal, athletic director, student council president, and one of the club student presidents. MyTech Solutions in Shelbyville. Let us manage your IT so you can manage your business. For more information, visit their website at mytechsoul.com. That's MyTECSOL, mytechsoul.com. Again, the WTIM High School Road Tour coming on Wednesday, January 22nd.
At Sloan Implement, your John Deere dealer in Taylorville, they promote success with all they sell. Established in 1931, Sloan Implement is one of the largest John Deere dealers in the world. With its headquarters in central Illinois, Sloan's dealerships provide new and used John Deere parts, equipment, and service. Whether it's planting, harvesting, or lawn and garden, trust Sloan Implement to deliver excellence every time. Stop by and visit the folks at Sloan Implement in Taylorville for the John Deere equipment and parts to keep you running.
Winter means you need even more nutrition. Start your family's day with a good breakfast. Farmer-owned Prairie Farms Dairy Whole, 2%, 1%, and skim milk all have lots of calcium and vitamins. Prairie Farms 100% pure Florida orange juice gives you lots of vitamin C. Prairie Farms low-fat, small, and large curd cottage cheese and yogurt are great salads or just by themselves. And try the new Prairie Farms original cream cheese in an 8-ounce size. Taste the homemade goodness of farm fresh Prairie Farms. You can get COVID, flu, and RSV vaccines free of charge at the Christian County Health Department. Both high-dose and regular dose flu vaccines are in stock. Make your appointment by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Here's Dr. Pavi Gill from Springfield Clinic, Taylorville.
Lifestyle medicine is about motivating you to improve your quality of life by changing habits and behaviors.
Find out more by clicking Dr. Gill's icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on WTIM, your information station, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and Landmark of Taylorville. Joining me is Gwen Podesky and Kathy Knope, Master Gardeners with the University of Illinois Extension. And before I let you guys go, because I certainly want to hit on all topics here, we want to talk a little bit more about some workshops and things that are going on.
Right. So we've got several things coming up for the public. There is going to be the let me get this going here. The Gardening Insights program is held in Macon County, usually at St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Decatur. It's going to be on Saturday, February 22nd from 8 a.m. to noon, and they can just go online to Macon County Gardening Insights, and there'll be a registration link there. The McLean County Master Gardeners have got the Bloomington Home, Yard, and Garden program going on March 1st. I don't have exact details on that, but again, go to McLean County Master Gardener Home, Yard, and Garden. the Mount Vernon Herb Gardening Program. I think Kathy
I will go.
is going. That's March 7th and 8th at the mall in Mount Vernon. And that's a great program. Lots of vendors and lots of classes and different programs. And then we've also got, that's March 7th and 8th. So
Okay.
there are several opportunities around. I
Mhm.
know usually Coles County has some. I know Kathy brought a bird feeder, and we want to remind you want to hold that up in the air. We want to remind our people to keep feeding the birds. Kathy's got an anti-squirrel device here, as much as it can ever be for bird feeding.
The squirrel will land on this and it'll twirl around and they get thrown off, and you could it's hilarious. You could look outside and see the squirrels going off.
Oh my goodness.
So anyway,
It's
that's
funny.
if you can get hold of the birds seed. My brother had some problems in Southern Illinois. All the stores were out of bird seed.
You're kidding.
And then
Oh,
also
wow.
there are garden catalogs. We've got I've got some older White Flower Farm catalogs, and then be sure to read those carefully. Those have got all the information
Yeah,
in
it
them you
does.
usually need to know
Yeah.
as far as when to plant the seeds or the plants, how tall they will get, what the colors will be,
And
what the production is likely to be.
and and plants that will thrive in your zone.
And right both in your zone, and it's also got a lot of information, especially with vegetables and herbs.
Yeah, they do.
We'll have a lot of information about. I just had a brain freeze here.
Yeah, how to just grow them,
Right.
basically.
Right.
Well, thank you folks so much. I wish we had
And
more time to
disease resistance.
talk
Yes.
more about everything going on with you guys. The University of Illinois Master Gardeners Gwen Podesky and Kathy Knope sitting in on the WTIM morning show here on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5 W298 CD Shelbyville, 107.9 W300 EH Payne and Nokomis.
Craig Clugston. Donald and Melania Trump arrived here after attending the traditional Inauguration Day church service near the White House. The incoming and outgoing presidents are having tea, which is a long-running custom, although Joe Biden did not receive the invitation 4 years ago. Soon, the two presidents will leave for the inauguration ceremony, sharing a ride to the U.S. Capitol. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Mr. Trump has a long to-do list as he prepares to return to the Oval Office. His priorities include securing the borders, regaining energy independence, jump-starting the U.S. economy, and making American cities safe again. Bitter cold and dangerous wind chills prompting today's presidential inauguration to move inside.